Happy Wednesday, scholars. Now, just one disclaimer for today's message. There's a lot that you'll be learning today, and so just to warn you is that once you know it all, it's important that you do. But once you know it all, you're going to look a little bit like us. So I think we look pretty good. So I hope that you're excited about that. So yeah, pay nice attention and look forward to looking really good. All right, get those pencils ready. Lots of writing today. So I can multiply two numbers with decimals and make sure my answer has the decimal in the right place. All right, the first problem that we're working on today is actually the second one on your page that says Xavier earns $11.50 per hour working at the nearby grocery store. Last week he worked for 13 and a half hours. How much money did Xavier earn last week? Remember to round to the nearest penny. So what we're going to do with this one is I'll show you two different ways that I think are great ways for us to do it. The first would be to multiply these numbers as if there is no decimal. So let's set this up for long multiplication like this, where we have 11.5 times 13.5. But we're going to just kind of move that decimal over and move this one over. And we'll just have to remember later that we've got to move that back once we have our answer. So let's go through this. We've got 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, add the 2. And 5 times 1 is 5. We go here to the next one. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3. Add the 1. 3 times 1 is 3. And we go to this next one. We're multiplying by the 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 times 1 is 1. We got to add all these together. We've got 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. 6 plus 4 plus 5 is 15. And then we have 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. And a 1. So here our answer to this is 15,525. If you're not careful, you would just circle that. But we got to remember that we moved these decimals, so we actually multiplied a different problem than we had here. So we've got to take this decimal here and move it 1 and 2. And we've got 155.25. That's how many dollars and cents that Xavier earned last week. Now let me show you another method. Of course, you all know that Mr. Wood loves the lattice method. So with this one, the nice thing about it is lattice method, we don't have to worry about getting rid of those decimals. Lattice method can easily account for them. So you've got 11.5 times 13.5. We draw all our boxes, so there needs to be 3 spaces on each side for this. And now we draw diagonals like a kite. So very quickly, you would multiply where the numbers meet up. So we've got 1 and 5 equals 0.5. I'm going to keep going with this 1. 0.1, 0.1. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3. Again, it's 3. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5. And it's also 5 again. Now you add up down these diagonal channels. So we've got 5 down here. We add it this way, 5 plus 5 plus 2 is 12. We've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus 5 is 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And finally 1 and 0. So here again, we've got the 15525, but now we've got to take a look at our decimals. So let's draw a little line with this decimal to follow it down here. So notice, I'm going to make this one really bold. I'm going to do the same thing with this decimal. So find where they meet, which is right here, and then trace the diagonal line that goes through it. So they meet here. We're going to trace it down, and boom, our decimal's in the right spot, 155.25. So this is an excellent way to do it. A final thing you can do if you want to just check your answer to make sure your decimal is correct, round both these numbers before you multiply them. So 1150 is basically equal, you can do a little squiggly equal sign, to 12, and 1350 is basically equal to 14. If we multiply these two together, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 1 is 4, and we have 0, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. And what you've got is 168, which really is not too far off, so we know that our decimal is in the right place. So get ready, we're going to go up to that top problem now in just a moment. Alright, let's try this with a little bit of a harder one. Once again, be taking really good notes right as I write. I'm going to move kind of fast as we go through this. So we've got 34.62 times 12.8. Again, what I love to do with this, if we're going to use the long division method, long multiplication method, which I'm guessing more of you are familiar with, I want to pretend that these don't have decimals. So we have 34.62 times 12.8. And I'm going to move these, but you got to make sure you count. We've moved once, we've moved twice, and we've moved 3 times. So in the end, once we have our answer, we've got to move 3 times back as well. But let's go ahead and multiply these like there is no decimal. 3,462 times 128. So we're doing this the long multiplication style. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 6 is 48. We add that 1. 8 times 4 is 32. Add the 4. And 8 times 3 is 24. And we just add the 3. Now we come to this next one. We're at multiplying by 2 now. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. Add the 1. So it's 9. 2 times 3 is 6. Now we come to this 1 here. 0, 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 4 is 4. And 1 times 3 is 3. We add all these together. We've got 6 here. We've got 13 here. We've got 11 right here. We've got 23. I know I'm moving fast, so just keep up as best you can. We've got 14, and we have 4. So we have 443,136. Again, we got to know we don't circle our answer just yet because we've moved 3 places over. So we've got to move 1, 2, 3 places back. Our answer is 443.136. One tip I really want you guys to know is if you're looking at a problem like this, simply count up the numbers after the decimal. So in this case, we've got 3 numbers after the decimal. If you know how many numbers there are after the decimal in this multiplication problem, you will know that your answer is going to have that same amount after the decimal. So in this case, we have 1, 2, and 3, and take a look at our answer. It's got 1, 2, and 3 decimals. 3 digits after the decimal. So that's a little trick, a little tip so that you can check your work to see if you got it right. Let's move on to the group work. I will get you started on it and then good luck with it. Okay, you should be on this page here for the group work, the one with 324.5 times 54.82. And also number 2 that says Kevin spends $11.25 and so on. I would recommend you start with number 2. I think it's a little bit more accessible, so start here, then move on to this one if you have the time for it. Please go ahead, use one of the methods that we talked about, either moving it so that there are no decimals first and then putting the decimal back, or give lattice method a try in case you like that one or just want to try it out. So go ahead, in the next couple minutes, work with your groups. All right, time for the group work is up. I don't have time to show you all the work for it, but so you can check your answer, 17,789.090. And here on the bottom, it's 399.375. I hope you got that. If you didn't, that's all right. That's why we're practicing. And notice that the amount of decimals matches the amount of decimals that were in the multiplication problem. So that's something key, once again, for you to know to check your answer. All right, turn the page to the independent work. I'm going to scroll here. Okay, so you guys all need to get started on this. You have a couple minutes to work independently and silently. This is Gunner's car gets 22.4 miles per gallon, and also the one down here that says the principal of East High School, and so on. So give these ones a shot. If you finish early, get right to work on that exit ticket, and I hope it goes great for you. If you have not already, move on to the exit ticket. You've got a few minutes to give these your best shot. 78.9 times 32.4, and the word problem here that also involves multiplication. Please give both of them a try, because remember, you can get partial credit even if you don't get it entirely right. I just need to know how well you know this. So please show me, give it your best shot, and I know you're going to do great. All right.